Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Soul and Screen. In this particular video, we will be continuing the conversation on soul ties as it pertains to Tyler Perry's Sistas. Again, we are utilizing the situationship between Zach, Fatima, and Karen. Let's just get straight into it, shall we? So, last episode, we ended where Fatima and Karen and Zach had their confrontation in front of their house when Karen came to the house trying to talk Zach to get back with her, and Fatima heard it, came downstairs and told her she heard what she said, and basically had Zach tell Karen in front of Fatima how it is. And Zach did. He stated his claim to Karen, letting her know that Fatima is not a number. She's one of one if she is, and that she ain't going nowhere. So basically that ticked off, Karen. What happens next in the scene is that a woman pops up and she's carrying a baby where she says that it's Zach's son. Now, Karen did not know any of this was going on. Of course, Zach and Fatima had already found out that some woman was claiming that he had a baby by him. And so the girl walks up, and it throws Karen completely off, because then she's like, oh, this just who you is. Like, so you got a baby? And she's talking to Zach, and Zach is just like, no. And then, Fatima had already kind of told her, like, wasn't you about to leave? And she just wanted to hear what this woman had to say, and ended up saying that the baby was Zach's. And then she gets, her feelings is hurt. And then she's like, this is just who you are. And then she tells Fatima, you can have them. You can have them, because this is pretty much what you about to be dealing with the whole time you with him. And so she just walks off. But let me put a slight pin here. He wasn't yours to give, boo. Like, she was saying, like, you can have him as if she had a choice in all this. And that's another thing that trips me out. Like, I already got him. So it ain't no I can have him. He mine. He mine until he not. And that's just it. That's the whole thought. But it was just interesting that Karen still felt like she had Zach in that moment, to the point where she can tell Fatima, you can have him. Like, as if she had some say over who Zach was with, as if she still had any type of control or influence over Zach in that moment, which she didn't. And so anyway, fast forward a little bit, picks up to the next episode, where, the next few episodes where basically Karen ends up in the hospital. She starts spotting, and Pam takes her to the hospital, and, then Miss Lisa calls, and while she's at the hospital, and she tells her mom, I'm at the hospital. Miss Lisa ends up showing up. She's like, what's going on? And she's like, Mom, I'm pregnant. And and so she's like, oh, she was like, and I was bleeding. And she's like, Mom, I'm scared. And she's like, what are you scared for? She's like, because I want this baby. And she's like, okay, well then happy thoughts, because you're about to have a baby, but you need to calm down. And so she tells her, she's like looking around, she's like, where's Zach? Where the baby daddy at? And so she goes, let me call him. And so Karen stops her, and she's like, Mom, I don't know 100% that this is his baby. And so Miss Lisa's like, oh, okay. And so she tells her, it also may be like, Aaron's, and Miss Lisa guessed that it may also be him. And then so she goes, okay, well, now this is making a little bit sense why you stressed out and why you spotting and stuff like that. And so she goes, I know, but I just can't, and she's like, you can't what? And she's like, I can't really stop, getting upset, because I'm still in love with Zach, and he's moved on, and her mom is just like, okay, got you. And so her mom actually gives a little bit of insight to another reason why Karen may be acting the way that she's acting in regards to this soul tie. And what I mean that is that Miss Lisa then tells a story of how her father, Karen's father, was basically just like Zach. He was, according to Miss Lisa in this story, she's telling her, your dad was very irresponsible. When he was with us, he was, wasn't handling the business. And when I put him out, he went and met some other woman. And then he started being like this top-notch dude. But what the reason I say that is because it really kind of gives you some insight on why earlier on she was walking around going off, like trying to figure out like what kind of father is he going to be if he in jail? Like, Andy, I don't want him in jail, like all this kind of stuff. When the truth of the matter is that ain't your choice. Like, if Zach was not going to be present in his child's life, it ain't nothing nobody could do about that. And so now so I say it gave some insight to another reason why she was just pushing so hard to, and getting upset about him not doing right and going to jail and things like that, because her dad wasn't around. Doesn't sound like he came back around very often. From what Miss Lisa say, and then what a conversation that she has with Aaron a little further, that she had with Aaron at the doctor's office, was saying that she needed to wait until after the baby was born so that she can be able to drink when she has talks to him about her father. So anyway, as we go into that situation with her on the other side of town, you see Zach trying to make up with Fatima for what happened the other night, with the baby mama showing up, and then even with the whole situation with Karen showing up. He's like, I got to do some damage control. So, and he's like, he loves Fatima, and he's like, I don't want to lose her. So he goes to her job, he picks her up, and he takes her on a date. And, he's explaining to her, like, he takes her when they first met, and how, and starts talking to her about how he has never been in love or met a woman who was like Fatima. For all those who continue to say that Karen was basically Fatima at the beginning of her and Zach's relationship, of false information. Zach did not equate that to be so. So let me say it that way, since we don't have any evidence of the fact, because we don't have any previous episodes showing that Karen had similar treatment and was treating him like Fatima was in the beginning. We only have what Zach says and what her and her friends are saying, and none of them are saying this. So Zach is the only one who's kind of speaking to his past relationships. I've never loved anyone like this. I've never even met any woman like this. And so he tells Fatima, and he's like, so if we just ever get to a place where we so mad at each other and we just can't find our hearts for each other, like, can we just come back here? Like, my boy is setting up a contingency plan. Like, hear me when I say this. He was just like, I know I'm a mess up most likely, and I'm probably gonna really piss you off, but if we can just come back here, I think we will see each other in this moment, remember how much we love each other, and possibly find our way back on the path to each other's heart and loving each other where we are right now. And so it was a cute little moment between them. And I bring this up because while we are talking about the effects of a demonic and negative soul tie and toxic soul tie between Karen and Zach, we also want to start seeing what's taking place and starting to build within Zach and Fatima's relationship. So you fast forward into the evening a little bit more. Zach and Fatima get home, and they just, playing on the couch, canoodling and everything like that. And then on the other side of town, Aaron shows up at the hospital looking for Karen. And so he walks into her room, and she's just like shocked because she had already told Pam not to call Andy, not to call anybody. The only person she really told Pam to call was Zach. And she did. Pam called Zach and told Zach that Karen was in the hospital because she was bleeding. Zach was like, oh, wow, is she all right? And so this is after him and, Fatima get home. She calls and he's like, well, okay, was she all right? And she was like, well, yeah, I mean, she all right, but the doctor's still checking on her. And he was like, all right, well, thank you for calling. And so Pam is like, wait a minute, you're not gonna come and check on her? And he was like, well, no, like you just said, you and her mama there, like she don't need me there. And she was like, so you're not gonna come up here and check on her? Like, this your baby. And he was like, after all the history that you guys have. And Zach, once again, has to tell another one of Karen's friends, history is what it is. So, no, I'm not coming up there. So, anyway, he hangs up and he gets back to, trying to cuddle with Fatima and get back in his place in space with her and go back to Karen and Aaron in the hospital. She's ticked off because, like, what you doing here? And once again, she's mad because wrong dude. Like, I don't want you here. I want Zach here. And so he's just like, don't worry about, who told me. And she's like, no, how did you know I was here? Like, don't nobody know I'm here. And he was like, Karen, like, don't worry about it. Like, what's going on? And so, because remember, he, in his mind, is adamant that the baby is his. And so he basically irritates her. And so she's like, quit stressing me out. And he's like, I'm not trying to stress you out. And she goes, oh, I know who called you. It was Fatima. So she's saying that Pam told Zach told Fatima, and Fatima ended up calling Aaron, which is absolutely not what happened, right? Because guess what? Zach and Fatima was on their date, loving on each other, not thinking about Karen at all. Like at all. So Karen gets mad. She calls and she's blowing up Zach's phone. And we know that because it goes back to the scene where Zach and Fatima are on the couch and they just like canoodling a little bit. And he's like, he's trying not to answer the phone because he's trying to get, with Fatima. Basically, he's trying to have sex. And Fatima's like, boy, just answer the phone. And so Karen calls his phone. He don't answer. So then she calls Fatima's phone. When she calls Fatima's phone, Fatima picks up the phone and she's like, hello. And she's like, hey, Fatima. And she's like, yes. And she goes, I would appreciate if you mind your effing business. And Fatima is like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, calling around town, telling everybody I'm in the hospital. You a B for that. And so Fatima is like, Zach, you better talk to this girl. Like, cause again, Fatima don't know what's going on. I'm over here trying to enjoy my man. And here you come. The second day in a row to ruin my evening. And so Zach gets on the phone and he's just like, hey, and she goes, and Zach, you didn't even come and call and check on me. And he's like, nah. She was like, I know Pam called you and you not even gonna ask me how I'm doing. And he was like, not with you acting like this. And so she cussed him out too. And so he's just like, whatever, goodbye, bye. And he hangs up on her. Now, remember, you just got done telling your mama that you wanted this baby. You want this baby so much that, I want this baby, and you've been talking about having a baby and everything, but now you already stressed yourself out by going to their house. You ended up finding that he really loved her, like hearing him say it in front of you, because sometimes dudes do play games. So the fact that Fatima made him say something in front of Karen and her solidified that he not playing no games with you. So now you know for a fact that he's done with you. And then you start to the point where you start bleeding. You find out about the other baby. Now you're really upset. Now you bleeding and spotting. And then instead of taking the break that you should be taking to try to help bring yourself out of a stressful situation because you want this baby, you call and instigate another argument with the woman that this man loves. But you want this baby. You see what I'm saying? Like conflicting information, like that just don't make sense. And if that's the whole, again, effect of a soul tie, this don't have anything to do with this baby at this point. At this point, this is still about what you want, but you think that having a baby by Zach is going to keep him, which it has been proven to be a successful effect that happens in society. Like men don't stay with women just because you have their baby. It just don't happen. If that's the case, most of us would end up still being with the same dude that you got babies, but it just don't work. And it hasn't been for years. Like, I mean, no shade to anybody. Like even my grandparents, my grandma has 9 kids and a couple of different baby daddies. So let me just put it out that way. So if that was the case, then, they would be together and probably would still one of them. You know what I'm saying? So having a baby by a man does not make them stay. In case there are some younger listeners, hear me when Auntie say this. Men don't stay just because you get pregnant by a baby. So don't do it. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So Zach gets into it, he hangs up with Karen, and then him and Fatima kind of get into a little argument because she's like, you're going to have to do something about this. Like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, she just came over to the house and cussed me out last night. Now she calling me the next day. Like, you need to handle this. And so he goes over and he talks to Miss Lisa, who answers the door because Karen's sleeping. He's like, Miss Lisa, can you, I'm going to need you to talk to her because she's not hearing me. And he's like, I already told her that I'm done. Like, I'm trying to move on with my new girl and everything. So Miss Lisa's like, okay, well, I'll talk to her. And he was like, we just gonna have to figure something out, because if this baby is mine. And she's like, now, Miss Lisa, you know that your daughter just told you that she don't know if Zach is the baby daddy. So what you acting like he's supposed to not say if for, right? But then she says something that really ticks me off, and she goes, well, if you okay, then she'll be okay. Not true, ma'am, because I'm okay right now. And she not okay, because she keep coming to my house. She keep dropping by my house. She just came to my house and me and my woman's house last night and went off on her for no reason and tried to, get me back. And then she called my woman this today and accused her of doing something that she didn't do, because guess what? We was over here just trying to hang out and stuff. And so obviously she not okay. But I am. And me and Fatima trying to be okay, but she not. So that little, if you okay, then she gonna be okay thing. Nah, that don't fly, boo. That don't fly. But anyway, so as a result, Miss Lisa basically the next day tells Karen that she's going to try to get Zach and Aaron to both come over to the house so that she can tell them how she feels and, get everything that she needs to say out. And hopefully that'll help eliminate the stress that she's having. So she tells her to write these letters and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple pauses here really quick and ask a couple things. So first, let me just do this. So first, when it comes to her calling Fatima. So honestly, like I said, I think I'm a little bit more pettier than the writers was for the Fatima situation, because if this chick would have called me in the middle of the night talking about you need to stay out my business and calling all around town and everything, I would have absolutely bust her bubble and told her, baby, first of all, ain't nobody thinking about you. I was over here about to have sex with my man until you called. So what you want? Like, real talk, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, I'm not about to continue to be nice with you and you keep interrupting my moments and stuff like we over here thinking about you, because we not thinking about you. And as petty as that would have been, that's exactly what Tiffany would have did. So, Fatima, kudos on that. You got one up on T again. So, because I wouldn't have been so sweet. Secondly, what do you guys think about this whole Miss Lisa thing? I really did not like the way that she handled that. And even as a mom who has an adult daughter, I feel like her conversation with Karen, while she was stressed out, I get, was still too toned down. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, in certain cases, again, Karen didn't tell her mama everything. So, and I get that. But as a mom, while you want to be compassionate and understand what's going on with your daughter, you still want your daughter to understand truth and see truth. And you know your kids better than anybody. Like, it don't matter. Even if your kid is somebody who is out there doing the most and messing up, you know certain things about your kids that because you're the mama. If you've been parenting your kid, you know there are certain things that my kid will do and there are certain things that my kid won't do. And every once in a while, you're going to get shocked by some stuff. So I ain't saying that. But what I'm saying is she knows she created a brat. And so Karen is acting out brat-like tendencies and because she's lashing out at people. She wants what she wants. She's trying to manipulate stuff to get what she wants. She's lying to get what she wants. She's even trying to pull Zach into a position where he leaves the woman or cheats with the woman that he's with to get with her. You not in love with her. Like, I just want you to come back, like that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, she know Fatima is what, like, you literally just asked me if she was in the house and I told you yes. So, we ain't just, we not just talking, we together. I literally told you she my woman. So, just the effects of this soul tie as we continue to get a little deeper into the episode, into the series, really strengthens and begins to just evolve a little bit, and just some of the stuff that Karen does more so begins to become contradictory. Again, she's very adamant that she wants to have this baby, but she's doing everything to create a stressful environment. And so I kind of wonder, though, even though you say you want a baby, but your actions are proving different. So do you want this baby? You know what I mean? Like, if you really wanted and cared about this baby, I don't, like, you at the hospital for a spot and you gonna call Fatima cussing her out to make your blood pressure come up even more. So do you want this baby? Do you possibly think that it could be Aaron's baby, and so maybe it's worth a miscarriage? But if Aaron quit asking me questions and just go away, then I can actually throw this baby off on Zach. And you know what I mean? Like, I think there was a lot of that going on in a person like Karen in her situation, because she want what she want at all costs. So anyway, that's it for now. Let's go ahead and end this conversation here. I will pick up the conversation at the meeting at their house. That's just for anybody who wants to know. So anyway, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Comment. Let's get a conversation going and see what happens with this one. Until then, I'll talk with you soon. Bye.